Hey there, and welcome to our learning module. Today we will explore the art of growing an indoor basil plant. I'm glad you are joining me on this journey. Let's begin. We're diving into the wonderful world of planting, caring for, and monitoring the growth of our basil buddy. Let's kick things off by going over the learning objectives together. Objective 1 is to master the indoor basil planting techniques. Objective 2 is to master the indoor basil care techniques. And Objective 3 is understanding basil stages of growth. Our journey in this module will follow 5 easy steps to nurture your indoor basil plant. Take a moment to review the steps before we begin our journey. First up, we will gather the materials needed. The materials needed to grow an indoor basil plant include a pot or container, at least 6 by 6 inches in size, with drainage preferably. If your pot does not have drainage, you can add it. Feel free to watch some YouTube videos on how to add drainage to your pot. You may want a tray under the container to collect drainage water. Number 2, you will need potting soil. 3, you will need a packet of basil seeds. And 4, you will need a homemade or store-bought watering device. Ever thought about making your own pots and watering cans from stuff laying around the house? Check out some cool DIY videos on YouTube for how to make these supplies. Now on to step 2, preparing and planting those basil seeds. Pour the soil into the container and leave about 1 to 2 inches of space at the top, as you can see in the picture on the right. Using your hand, you're going to want to firmly press the soil down. Then, before planting any seeds, you'll want to allow your soil to warm in the natural sunlight for 24 hours. You can just set your basil plant on a table in the sun and let it warm up. This will help with germination. Once your soil has warmed for 24 hours, you can sprinkle 2 seeds per square inch within your pot. You'll then lightly sprinkle a thin layer of soil over the top of the seeds. For step 3, we'll get down to the nitty-gritty of caring for your indoor basil plant. Once your seeds are planted, you'll want to lightly water your newly planted seeds. To support germination, cover your container with a paper towel for the first 5 days, as shown here in the picture. Place your seeds in direct sunlight for 6 to 8 hours a day. Water regularly, ensuring that the soil stays moist in your plant. Plants need 1 to 2 inches of water a week. If your basil plant stops growing, you may need to separate your plants into different containers so that they have more space to grow. And here comes step 4, identifying the different growth stages of your plant. Ever wonder what your basil plant looks like in its immature and flowering stages? Take a look at these images of the basil plant growth. As you can see, the images show from seed to germination to immature plant to mature plant that is ready for harvest and to flower, which means it's past its harvesting time. Now we will look at a cool video showing the live action transformation of an indoor basil plant. Now that we can understand and identify the stages of basil growth, We can wrap up our learning module with step 5, which is harvesting and pruning your indoor basil plant. When your basil plant is mature, it is ready to harvest. Look for the start of a flower as a sign of maturity, as pictured on the left. In this image, you can see that a flower is about to bud, which means your plant is ready to harvest and prune. Instead of harvesting the individual leaves, harvest and prune your plant by cutting the top of the stem. As you can see in this image, you'll want to locate the second or third node. Then you'll want to cut just above that node to prune and harvest your basil plant. This will prevent your plant from flowering, but you will also have your opportunity to harvest the leaves then as well. Your plant will then regrow. Now that we've covered the whole process, take a moment to review and discuss the learning objectives with your peers. Click on the link to take the assessment when you are ready. After the assessment is complete, feel free to deepen your understanding and explore new facts about basil plants using the following discussion prompts. Thank you for hanging out and exploring the world of basil plants with me today. I enjoyed our time together.